What's up? This is Phabo. And you know I got soul.
I really want to dive into this album because it's crazy. But of course, we got to touch a little bit on your background.
Let's
So,
get it.
if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about some artists and albums that really just inspired you to start making music, but really inspired your pen because your pen is crazy. Definitely one of my
Man,
friends right now. So, can I just tell me some artists that really influenced that?
all right, so out the gate, boom. I'm just give it honest. So my dad was a songwriter. Um, he was a songwriter who, you know, I guess he decided that the path would just be a little bit too treacherous trying to raise a son, his first child, and all that. So,
Mm.
he went and got like a more professional job and whatnot. But I ended up going through like a closet, found like stacks and stacks of notebooks, and that's how I discovered my dad wrote because I found that like I had never been told that,
Oh, wow.
and found like he go and get like his music like printed up, go to like an actual I don't know like a somewhere he make sure that he got it like written out so that you could play it on piano. He had parts for it for trumpet, all that, and that kind of grew into curiosity. So I grabbed like a tape recorder, start recording myself on there, just my voice, just to hear myself. Um, Then he made this tape at the crib that had Eric Benet on it.
Mm.
It had Eric Benet, Brian McKnight, and I want to say uh, Barrington Levy. I had Barrington Levy on it.
Oh, wow.
So I'm growing up with the reggae, the R&B, and then gospel. You know what I'm saying? My cousin is B Slade, formerly known as Tone.
Oh, wow.
So it's like growing, I'm just seeing it all around me. It's like, man, he got Make Me Over going crazy in every church across the United States. Growing up in his church, you know what I'm saying? He was the MD at the church. So I'm just always looking, literally like looking up to this dude. And from there, I remember getting into rap a lot, super heavy. But I came back on the other side of that, listening to Ty Dolla Sign because he's another raspy voice singer. He made it.
Mm.
He was so appealing to me because of his voice texture, the candor in his voice. Because I'm so used to hearing, like the pure voice singers, I feel like Justin Bieber is somebody with a very pure voice. I feel like,
Mm.
there's just no rasp there whatsoever. Ty grew into me leaning into Drake's music, and it was like I really leaned into Drake like senior year of high school, and I combined all that together, and yeah, it gave me the confidence to be able to do my music.
That's awesome, man. To go back onto that Tone thing, is that the one, the gospel artist with the X on the end of his
Yeah.
No way, bro. That's
Word. Yeah, bro, I'm from San Diego.
wow. I love gospel, man. So that's insane, bro.
I
That's
love hearing that, bro. Yeah, can you imagine like just that being the example of like what musicianship is, bro? So I never wanted to be an artist for real.
wow. It don't make sense now, bro. Now this is why I mess with you. Like the roots are there.
I appreciate it, Nico.
I got you, man. Let's go into, I was checking some of your old interviews. I wanted to interview you back when Soulquarius came out. We just couldn't lock in the time. I tried talking to your manager, but the
Yeah,
time is now.
yeah.
And a few interviews I checked out back then was one that you mentioned you were a rapper first and you kind of transitioned to singing. And then
hmm
the election one came out recently, maybe like a few months ago. And you
hmm
mentioned this transition from writing to singing. So, I'm curious, like, how was that transition for you and were those two similar and how it shaped you as an artist now?
Yeah, so both of them are very similar because they both are or both of them are stemming from like insecurity as an artist.
Mm.
So when I was telling people I was a songwriter, I really meant that. But the only reason why I chose to do so was because I was afraid of being in the forefront, all the way in the forefront, being the center of attention.
Mm.
And when I speak to certain background singers and those who have chosen to be background singers, there's some that really, really love their job and just play in the back, and they can feed their family just play in the back. You don't have to be you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But there are some background singers like what's that one dude on on that Alicia Keys song, they really want that moment, bro. They really want to come through and like outshine the master. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go through that either. So I never really agreed with that mindset all the way. But I do know what it's like to write a song and present it to an artist, and the artist cut it and it just not drop 4 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be.
Mm.
And I know that feeling gets tiring. You feel me? So eventually you get to the point where you like somebody gonna come up to you and tell you, "Yo, why don't you drop it yourself? Like, why are you waiting?" Type shit. Like, why don't you go and do it yourself? You hear that from enough people, and you drop it. Now, the interesting part for me was whether or not I was gonna stand on it. You feel me?
Mm. Mm.
So it's like I dropped the music, and the way people sold it to you, like you go number one and all that, it doesn't happen. So now you're on SoundCloud with 300 plays for like mad months, and you're like, you're number watching. You're watching it climb by like 3 and 4, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like that can be very discouraging in and of itself. You feel what I'm saying? And I think for me, just making the decision to call myself an artist rather than like singer songwriter, that I think honestly is like wanting the credit for that. Like when you ask LeBron James what he does, he just says like he's a team leader. He doesn't go like father basketball player.
Yeah.
Or like so it sounds like an overcompensation. Like what's going on at home is what I would ask. So I needed to stand firm on something. And even with the rapping to singing, the only reason why I wasn't singing is because, like I said, people like Tone are who the bar is set at in my family.
Mm.
So, in my mind or in my family, whether people admit it or not, we're very judgmental when it comes to music. Somebody messes up on the organ or the keyboard at a service, no one says anything. You just look across the church, you see eyes. You just see eyes.
For sure.
They like, you know what I'm saying? They hit you with the eyes. It's like, whoa, okay. I don't know if I'm ready for that pressure of this. You feel me? Like doing this, but I know nobody can rap in this family, so I'm gonna do that. But it's like R&B was always calling me because, like I told you, I grew up on it. I started there. My dad was a singer, and my cousins respected my dad's voice, but it's like I wouldn't get that same respect. You feel me? As my dad, but yeah. So I think both of them are one and the same because they both stem from not fully believing that you could take it all the way there, out of fear. But I overcame the fear in both arenas, and I'm glad because I get to see the fruits of my labor a little bit more.
And I'm glad too. It's like it just makes perfect sense because you really are this in between artist in terms of the modern, the rap, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like the soul, man, to go back to it, it's just like you have it, and it all makes sense. And I'm glad you took that step, to this journey. To transition to my next question, Soulquarius was like, if people, if they listen, they know. I like,
yes.
As a fan, I appreciate all the thought you put into that album, into this album especially.
Mm-hmm.
Even just like like the first track on that album with Alex Vaughn and referencing Living Single, like stuff like that.
Come on, man.
Like people don't get that sometimes, bro. So like
little nuances like that. Little nuances. Thank you for even paying attention to shit like that.
Yeah, that's it. And that's how I know you care about your craft. And we love showcasing people who care about it. And when they got that like the talent to back it up, it makes a difference. But to go to my next question, man. Soulquarius, and now Don't Get Too Cozy. Compare your journey between these two. Like, is it different? Like making that first album. How was that compared to making this album right now? Do you feel more confident in it? Do you feel like, sonically it's different? Just kind of compare it a little bit.
Yeah, so making the first album. Okay, boom. You peep Spider-Man?
I did.
So making the first album was like discovering my hands are sticky. And I'm like, they're sticking to everything. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm like, what I'm saying? What the fuck? I got these powers. That's how the first album went.
Okay.
This second project is like, okay, cool. You know your power. You know what I'm saying? You know your power. Um,
You in
do
the
you want to
style.
go? Do you want to swing from Manhattan all the way to Guam, or do you just want to like make sure that everyone understands your story a little bit more, like the origin story of where you came from and this, that, and the third? So much rather than continue and like go into the Marvel universe too deep or the DC universe too deep or whatever the case may be, I think we're going to the origin story a little bit just to tell that before anything in the future drops. So I wanted to like just make sure that I was like obviously linking with my same homies, the Louis Elastics, the Max Hunter, Dan Foster, all the homies, Ghetto Kids.
Mm.
I just wanted to make sure that that was there before I started telling like I guess deeper things.
Mm.
Like I get to talk about my dad dying for the first time.
Mm.
Um, and I was very strategic about that. I didn't want that on Soulquarius, you know.
Really?
I didn't want it on Soulquarius because I felt like I had already spoke on like I lost both my grandmothers while I was working on that album.
Wow.
I'm like, if I throw a couple more in here, this is gonna be a big ass obituary. And I didn't want that energy, you know what I'm saying? I was just like,
Yeah.
that's not the story I'm trying to tell. That's
Yeah.
not how I'm trying to lead, you know. So and also didn't feel comfortable talking about my pop just yet. So I
Mm.
feel like on this one, I was very intentional with talking about relationships deeper, not being as vague on that tip. Talking more about just different experiences where I messed up more. I was a little bit afraid to speak on fuck ups on Soulquarius. Scared to be vulnerable all the way. I think much more vulnerable on Don't Get Too Cozy because I didn't want anyone to feel cozy with the Soulquarius mindset. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this one's kind of like a, you know, I'm shaking shit up a little bit more. Like it's more aggressive. There's an aggressive tone in my voice on purpose, like purposely. Because I don't want anyone cozy listening to the project.
Mm. Yeah,
So
it's definitely some passion in this one. Not to say that there
yeah.
wasn't in Soulquarius, but like there's passion in this. Like you gotta listen to it to really know. Um, but 18 tracks, man, is a lot. And we're gonna talk about like the state of just the consumer, I guess, later of
Yeah.
music. So if you had like 3 to 4 you want to recommend to somebody to get started that really captures like the essence of the project, like what would those be for you? Those 3 to 4 songs. Is it like the singles? Is it not the singles? Like what do you think that would be?
The wind.
The Wind.
Um, the wind for sure.
Yeah.
Just out the gate, I'm trying to discover, kind of like explore and discover what this new space is of being an artist. And just braggadociously being like, you know, popular, like I'm the new kid on your campus.
Mm.
Like stuck on stupid, got the lead and you can't lose it. Like that's just all me talking about me, like
Yeah.
just literally feeling like I'm the shit, even when I may or may not be. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get that song up too crazy, but yeah, that's like one of them ones where it's like it's self reflection, and you feel me. Love Songs is another one that's just a full R&B. I feel like that could drop in 2002 and it still be just as popping as we rocking with it right now. And I think that's mainly because Troy Taylor had such an influential process in my song making on that whole Atlanta trip, making Before I Let Her Go, all that. So Love Songs is one of those songs we did on that Atlanta trip, and Troy sat with me the entire process. He
Mm.
allowed me to write it, and you just gotta look at Troy. If he don't like it, he gonna let you know real quick. You feel me?
Yeah.
So he let me rock, and when he lets you rock, it gives you confidence because you know just how on you he can be. You get me? So once he don't say nothing to you, you're like, oh, you kind of look over expecting him to say something. He's like, okay, and keep going. Why'd you stop? Like, I fuck with Troy so tough. So he got that out of the song. And we had to bring it to the world because of that. I think two more would be like Swing My Way.
Swing
I
My Way.
like Swing My Way a lot. I'm curious what people are gonna think. Even though it's an interlude, I'm curious what people are gonna think because I purposely I left a like an open spot on there, like an open verse, not related to a TikTok challenge. Just there's an open, you know what I'm saying? Maybe people are like, look, I created a remix to whatever, and I'm open to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to all that. But I purposely did that so that people could get their pain off too. Um, and the last song, this is all my kids too, Nico. So you asking me like,
That's my fault, bro.
all my babies, bro, all my babies. Last one. I have to say NYL with Ambré. I have to say NYL with Ambré. That song, yeah, that's that song where like the part two of that, you get to feel that aggression. Also, the homie being on there, you know what I'm saying, Ambré, and the timing of everything. Excuse me. These songs, they feel crazy because we were working on them during quarantine. So naturally, you know, when I'm championing my homie Ambré and she's doing her thing, you know what I'm saying, we dropping music or whatnot. Mind you, we're dropping on the same day, and that's completely coincidental, but it's like that song meant something to me outside of streams, outside of writing, outside of anything. It's like I was listening to Nintendo Shawty on SoundCloud, and here we are. I got a song, one of my favorite artists, and we both, you know what I'm saying, on one accord. That's my partner. She looked out for me in New Orleans, all that. So I say those four, man. They mean a lot to me, straight from the heart, for real.
So what's crazy is I have a list of my favorites, and I'm pretty sure just I marked all of them off that I wanted to talk about. So that's how you know, like I'm telling you, The Wind, man, like that track to me shines as your pen in general.
Jeez.
The one with NYL with Ambré, I love Ambré too, and I think you and her and Destin are just up on like the same caliber, and to have that song together is crazy. And then Swing My Way is another one I had on my list. So those are just like standout tracks to me. But my number one song is Unruly, Luv Songs. Like you said, that could have came out in 2000 for real. And I want to talk a little bit more about what you learned from Troy, because like you said, he's funny when he doesn't like a song. Like he's gonna let you know, like your vocals.
Oh yeah.
We've all seen that. So can I just talk a little bit more about working with him, especially on Before I Let It Go, and really what you learned just from being around him, because he's a legend. So
off top, Troy is amazing. I think you come in with like a certain thinking, like before you meet anybody. I try not to judge a book by its cover, but even when you don't, you kind of have like a pre set like
absolutely
way in which you like view someone or whatever. And so just his catalog alone, I was very meek. I was very scared to speak up. I was very scared to, and I'm never like that in the studio. If you've been in the studio. So yeah, like I had to just kind of check that. He'll let you know. There's rules on the door. You get what I'm saying? Obviously I'm following those rules, but more than that, you have to be a human, you have to be honest. You have to be willing to sit your ego aside. You get me? So I'm working with Troy. And with everything I told you, apply that to my voice. So now I'm like trying to be too cute, too pretty, and I'm singing it. I'm singing as it would be heard to the world once it's mixed, mastered. So from there, I'm singing nasally. I'm singing real, like trying to sound like the records and whatnot. And he's like, halfway through the session, stops it. Whoa! Well, she was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" Type. I'm like, "No, I'm trying to blah blah blah." All right, do it again. Has me do it again. I sing it again. He goes, okay. You're one of those singers that needs auto tune. Had I known that, I would have just put it on. I just turned it up. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm mad. So now I'm tight in the studio. So now I'm like, no, started at one. Started at one. And he starts it at one. And I hit the motherfucking note. And he pauses it. He goes, there you go. And it was just like, I just busted out laughing because I'm like, yo, the way he get it out of you, bruh.
Yeah.
is unlike anything. And I want you to know it's consistent whether you're Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross, or whoever. He don't give a fuck.
Wow.
He don't give a fuck. And that's what that I'm like, damn, am I in boot camp right now? But nah, even if you was Mariah Carey, he giving it up to you just like that. So it's it was a blessing, man. And once you get that formula, once he trusts you downstairs, he goes upstairs.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He just goes upstairs, let you run your sessions. My first time ever running my own session.
Wow.
Anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm super grateful for the fact that I kind of came into the game spoiled. Like there was always an engineer in the studio and whatnot.
Mm.
It does handicap you in a sense if you don't have that home setup and whatnot. So I definitely suggest that, getting that set up and whatnot. But yeah, I was one of those ones that started out as a songwriter. So I'm in the studio with the engineer who's paid by the label, and they're and then when the session's over, the engineer's like, "You so dope. Let's run it. Let's run it till 2 a.m." And now I'm getting so that was my setup at first. I think Troy made it to where, you know, he reiterated like, yo, you need your own shit. You need to learn how to. I'm not running this for you. What? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Yeah.
That sounds like a, a crazy experience to learn all that from him in like one few sessions, you know? Like, and it shows me everything we see, and you know, my team has known him for a long time. So just to see the stuff he puts on IG and knowing him through, you know, the company, it's like, yeah, like that's him, you know. Like
Yo, he's a million% Troy. It's like you don't
it's
have to guess. I love just legends that like are giving you game and they're teaching you how to do this. And now
yeah,
I'm in sessions with other people and I'm vocal producing them like Troy. I'm like a baby, like fake Troy in it. Like it's so funny, bro. It's funny, like. But yeah, I fuck with Troy so heavy. I'm so appreciative of TTU.
yeah, man. I'm glad he's on that track with you, those two tracks, and
Yeah,
awesome that you're taking that what you learn and giving it to other people, you know.
for sure.
So let's dive into a few more songs. Like I said, you touched on a lot that I want to touch on. So we're gonna go back to one or two of them, but one that you didn't mention is "Proud to Be." So I feel like nobody writes songs like that anymore. So if you just want to talk about, you know, just your mindset in that and who you work with, just give me a little bit of background in that song.
Yeah, Proud to Be, produced by the homie M. Um, Mind you, he doesn't exist. I want to put that on this call real quick because he may or may not hear this, and he's kind of floating in the ether. He may or may not hear this, and you know he's very mysterious when we're in the studio or whatnot. Like as soon as the space bar plays, you might look back to say something to him. The door is just slowly closing, like he's already dead. He's one of those.
Oh
So
man.
for him to agree to you know, we got in the studio for him to agree to rock or whatever the case may be, it's a blessing. Because I just know it was one of the late entries to the project too. I want you to know that.
Okay.
So I was in the studio and he played it, and it was just so like, ooh, the beat was just so ooh wee like that. That's why I said it on the track. I'm like, ooh wee, like I had to because it's like, whoa, it's just funky. It's like, whoa, I'm like, man, proud to be. You know what I'm saying? And everything, I was just freestyling for real. Like, ooh, that would be dope if I pull the shorty Benz out, clean the whip up, waxed it good, then I parked the Benz up. Part of me, I had to clean my lenses. Like, I'm just on some shit. Like, man, you so fine. Like, I wanted it to look like Miss Parker was watering her grass type shit. And you just outside cleaning your rims. Like, well, damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, I'm proud to be, you know what I'm saying? And so, and it was also, I want to do a play on what really the song was initially called not spoil. It was called Spoiler Alert, and I changed it to Spoil Her Alert. And then it was like Proud to Be. It was like the ultimate joint because I kind of wanted to go into Your Loss. It was like Proud to Be Your Loss type deal. On the track list, I wanted to read like that. But yeah, me and M knocked that out. That was like a quick 20-minute joint. And he liked the freestyle so crazy. Like, yeah, don't change nothing. Don't change nothing. Like this how we rocking. The song's initially it's another like minute and 30 on that song too. I might have to drop on a deluxe or something, but
I'm sure we
it's
need.
yeah, it's some shit.
It's the confidence on that track, yo, and there's like a lot of confidence on a lot of the songs, but it just, you know, it gives you that confidence, you know, like you made it for the guys, but you also made it for the girls. The song, you know,
A
Like,
million percent.
you know what I'm saying? But let's hop into another one, which I did not expect from you on the project, but I love it. Geneva. It's definitely a standout to me. It's just something I
Yeah.
haven't heard before, but talk about just your mindset making that too. And I love that track. It's unique. It's something I don't think a lot of people will expect. But
Yeah, yeah. Um, thank you for that too, bro. I feel like Geneva, and shout out to homie Irv and Louis. Uh, Geneva is a very interesting song as a black R&B artist. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Because I feel like a lot of us are extremely talented in so many different genres, and I feel like, believe it or not, there's more people that have a Geneva in their back pocket than you would believe. But it's like, are you going to stand on it and have faith in the fact that you probably won't get that top 40 support on a top 40 song that could go number one like that without major label support? You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like I got hella Genevas in my back pocket. You know what I'm saying? I got those, but it's like I I'm always apprehensive to share them with the world, because rather than people just giving you that top whatever, that run that you need off of that song, they just take it, box you in. Oh, he's alt. They're alt, and then they throw you in a whole nother bag with niggas that are also trying to get top 40s, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
me sprinkling that on this R&B, very R&B project was very intentional. Um, I wanted to showcase my pen. I wanted to showcase just the versatility of my voice. I wanted to use my character voice a little bit more
mm.
on this project, and Geneva was one of the ones I was, while I was recording Soulquarius, I did Geneva. So
Oh, wow.
it's, you know what I'm saying? It was one of the ones, like, when I got the ATL character voice going and I'm real nasally when that Geneva was one of the ones I did. So, and that's Caviar P, by the way. That's bro's name. When I do that, that's Caviar P, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
But but uh but yeah, man. I I wanted to take my, like, I had tried Molly during quarantine for the first time.
Okay.
And I just realized how sensitive my teeth, like how sensitive my teeth get, like the goosebumps on my arms and all that. I'm like, ooh, what does this feel like? Like, ooh. So when I heard Geneva, those words came to me. I'm just like, yeah, this song gonna be like whatever it feels like to peak on drugs.
Mm.
That's what I want this song to feel like. You feel me? So that's the essence of that one. Hopefully that answers your question too. I know I'll be rambling, bro, but
Nah, you absolutely did, yo. You absolutely did.
yeah, I bet.
I that's awesome that it was part of Soulquarius. So during that time,
Mm-hmm.
just like you mentioned, when you switch into these different voices, and we've seen that, with like Playboy Cardi and artists in that type of style.
Yeah.
And I love
Thug.
that you incorporate that into R&B. So
Yep. Shout out Young Thug too. Free the slime.
Young Thug, of course, yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah.
one thing. Let me say this first. So I don't know if you saw what happened in New York, like on Wednesday, where like the wildfire smoke and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm in the city traveling, and I'm bumping the album. I just want you to know, Ecstasy and Stay. If you do,
Ooh, stay with that sky.
you already know. I know you.
Yeah, bro.
It was crazy. So
That's crazy.
if you do a visual with that, man, you gotta
Bro.
just pick that a little bit, like And I have to say I love the visuals you always put out, and just you know, I don't know, man. Like your mindset on these things. I hope that it doesn't go underappreciated by other people, but know that our platform, we love it and we respect what you're doing. So yeah, man.
Nico, you cold, bro. You cold. You pay attention, bro. You pay attention, man. I fuck with you the long way, bro. Trust.
Much love, bro. Much love. I'm
Yeah,
a
bro.
man. That's what it comes to. I'm a fan of real people, bro. That's what it is.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I know. When you said it, I got a picture on my phone of what you talking about right now. That's the craziest part. Like, between the buildings, like it looked like
Yep.
elongated 5 o'clock, like golden hour in New York. This is what it looked like right now. Like when they get to that orange point, just forever, all day. That shit's nuts.
Yes, sir. I was definitely choking and stuff, but it was worth it.
He's like, I was choking, but the music good.
It was crazy. But no, anyway, so let's hop into Give me some more
I'm
details.
glad you safe too. I'm glad you safe too. Go ahead though, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Took me a few days though to get my breathing back, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
MYL with Ambré. Like I said, you mentioned it, but give me a little bit more detail, just because I'm a fan of Ambré. And like how'd it go? How'd it come about? Like, was it Zoom because it was quarantine? Did you guys link in the studio?
Um, it was one of the rare times we didn't link in the studio. But we both worked with Louis a lot. So I had cut the record, and I got a text from Louis. He like, yeah, Ambré. Ambré want to hop on this song. And yeah, all that extra shit you do, all that extra shit you doing on the record, yeah, cut that out. Yeah, Amber said she ain't right with that. I was like, all right, for sure, bet. You know what I'm saying? Like for a minute, like I had to like really fight for my own shit on my own song because she wasn't really rocking with it. That part, she rocked with the whole song, just that extra part of the thing, yeah, cut that off. And so, but yeah, nah, like I said, it was a dream come true because that's my homie. That's really like my partner, and she's a legend in this. Really the definition of cool. When it comes to that cool shit, she don't try hard. Like she don't have to try hard because she is that. She been that. She don't care about nothing that you're talking about. Like, you feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, with the heart of an angel. So it's like both of them, like the contrast of the two is crazy. Like you might, you know what I'm saying? It might look like she got that on and she about to just shoot you the whole time. It's not even on play. Like she's really a sweetheart. She's yeah, she's a blessing. I could go on and on about her and Destin for real, but the record, I wanted to get away from Baltimore. I wanted to get away from Baltimore being at the time LNF was my biggest song. So the flew to Baltimore to be my baby, saying that at every show, every show, every show. I'm like, okay, cool. On this song, I want to say, I left you in Maryland. Like off the rip. That's when I'm starting to rap the track. And that was one of the ones I did around that time too. That around that Geneva, Scorpio Moon, LNF, all those were done like in the same few weeks.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I wanted to start it off creating a new setting, kind of like altering, pivoting towards New York. Because at the time I was in New York and I was just hella inspired by everything from dollar slice pizza to the fucking Fordham Road, bro. Like just everything. I almost bought 3 belts just cuz type shit, bro. I was inspired. New York hit me like a ton of bricks. Is that what they say? Is that the old saying? Yeah. Hit me like a ton of bricks, bro. I'm like, I have to do pull-ups on this light pole because why not? Like I have to. Like I have to get a chopped cheese from Duke Ellington at 4 in the morning. I have to. On a roll, bro. What are you doing, bro? Why would you like I love New York, bro. New York got on me and it stayed on me. So it's like the turning point for me where I was like, ooh, this is what we're doing. We're going over to Brooklyn Bridge playing Faith Evans. I love you, bro. And like I videoed the moment and I'm like, and when I tweet about the moment and that tweet will go up like every 3 months. I'm like, yeah, y'all still ain't crossed the Brooklyn Bridge listening to Faith Evans. I love you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'll go up every single time because it was such I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, bro. Like, so I want NYL to feel a lot like that moment. Just from the chords to the harp in the background to everything. And that was Louis, that was me, that was Max, that was Dan, I was the home team on that one. That was Blake Strauss on there too. You know what I'm saying? Like the homies. So all in all, I think what people are gonna hear, what they're gonna get from that is gonna feel very familiar. It's gonna feel like a very good gumbo pot. Because everything came together from setting to intention to the family vibe in studio. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ambré came with a crazy ass verse and did her shit. Everything on that one is just amazing. It checked off everything for me. And yeah, I'm just grateful to give it to the world.
No, absolutely. And I love the production on that. I'm glad you mentioned the whole harp thing. Anytime I hear a harp, it brings me back to like Never Say Never, the Brandy album, just because, Boys Mine, that production. And I kind of see that production a little bit in Out of Touch. That's the last song I want to talk about.
Yes.
Before we get into that, though, the Faith Evans thing, man, I feel you. because I played it in Brooklyn once. Or I think I got a video on my IG where we're playing in Brooklyn somewhere. And it just
Yep.
hits, bro. It really hits different. That song.
It's a different, even Harlem, like if you over there on that side, like doing that, it's like,
Yeah,
yo, why is it doing that? Like, why are you making my heart feel like this? You know what I'm saying? It's just different, bro.
absolutely. But yeah, tell me a little bit about Out of Touch with Shea Universe.
Man, shout out Shay for one. We got that song done as soon as she touched down in London. I mean, touchdown in LA from London.
Mm.
Knocked it out in like 30 minutes. The beat was playing. The homie Malik 95 from I Like That Online was playing the beat for us. Dante from They produced on the beat as well. And it's playing, and Angie Stone is coming to mind. NDRE is coming to mind. Jill Scott is coming to mind. Conversational R&B Solstice is coming to mind. You know what I'm saying? And I immediately got out the way. You get what I'm saying? I immediately got out the way. I kind of slipped back in the songwriter mode.
Mm.
So now I'm just focused on writing Shay's parts. That's all I really cared about, and conveying that and what that conversation would be. And I'm saying shit. I'm like, yeah, you should do it like this. And she's like, okay, cool. And she do the like this with the like that on it. I'm like, hold up, the like this plus that like that. Like, yeah, I'm done talking. You got it. Get in the booth right now. Go. So, you know what I'm saying? She's in there, and it's just like, while she's talking, I'm thinking of things that a dude would say back to, you know what I'm saying, back to whatever that is. I'm like, yeah, I called you last night, that dude, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, but you feel me? Like, it's only possible if we're in there having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's only possible if the vibe is right. The producers and the engineers let us rock. We really did our thing. And then when it came to the harmony, she's the harmony goat. I am the harmony lamb. We are together as one. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's like, I don't know. You kind of get burnt out hearing so many like stories of, I guess, people having like egos in the studio or divas, and even though it's early, Shay don't have any of that. And even if she did, you'd never be able to tell. You know what I'm saying? Because she's literally as professional as they come. You think she's been in the industry for 20 plus years. That's the poise that she moves with. And you can hear that on the track because there's no getting over on her on this track. I think the song don't end with a, okay, you're right. The song ends with a, yeah, you got me fucked up. Until you rectify that, like, yeah, I can't feel you.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck with her as a person, as an artist, as everything. And that was one of the late entries to the album that had to make the album because it was just that. Like, it was that for sure.
It's a real song and it's a beautiful song, And
Man, thank you, bro.
Vocally, both of you really helped that come across in that song. And like I said, the harmonies,
Mm-hmm.
Just a beautiful song altogether. And it's my final question. I'm gonna condense two of them. I mentioned it briefly before. It's the state of the world that we're in. People don't pay attention. So was it a little intimidating to have all these tracks on one album? And how do you plan on making it last? So if I know. Yeah, go ahead.
The intimidating part was dropping Soulquarius and having 16 records on it.
Mm.
So I'd already got that out the way. But anybody that's listening to this and who listened to that, they'll know that the only difference is that I titled the track an intro as opposed to just, you know what I'm saying, not, or like the Alex Vaughn, that was the intro. You get what I'm saying? The Alex Vaughn and who produced that? I don't want to forget bro's name, but yes, the Alex Vaughn track was an intro. We just didn't title it that. And so there's interludes on this project too that we just didn't title that. So the songs, as social media starts getting to it, they'll be like, I wish this was longer. And it's like, it's an interlude. We just didn't. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I took some notes from A Seat at the Table with Solange, where you kind of just look up and the album's over and you're like, what the fuck? There was no warning. Because she gives you no warning. And I feel like that's the beauty in it. You kind of, when you tell people something's an interlude or you tell people something's this, they then have the power to be like, yeah, no, too short for me. Or Or somebody might be interlude head, and they're like, "Yeah, this is my favorite because it's you know what I'm saying." I didn't want to
Yeah.
have any pre-placed dispositions on my music, and so I guess I never really thought of it as being longer due to the fact that it's only 2 minutes and 17 seconds longer than the last project. You get me? It's just it's an optic. The optics of everything is what I wanted to challenge. I want to see if people are really listening, or if y'all really got ADD. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's important.
Yeah. Nah, I love that perspective on the whole thing. And then I
Yeah,
guess tell me your goal of
man. Um, my goal is to be able to remain as authentic as possible. Um, I'm glad that I'm in a space right now where like my artistry has been appreciated right in the nick of time. You know what I'm saying? Right in the nick of time. I didn't feel the need to go do a crazy drastic rebrand where I dye my hair a crazy color. That's the I don't got no problem with people that do that. I'm just saying, me personally, me going against all that Phabo stand for just to feel something. Just to I never got to that point, and I'm grateful for that. And I think that allows me to drop music that's true to me, only true to me. I really don't care what's like on the radio crazy or anything like that. I can enjoy that music separate from me because those elements of that music definitely most of the music, you know what I'm saying? Definitely most of the music we make on this side, you know. I feel like ultimately I just want to be remembered as I don't want to say remembered because now it sounds like I'm speaking in memoriam, but ultimately, like, you know what I'm saying, when people come listen to my music, I just want them to know that, like, you know what I'm saying, there's nobody else that took the steps that we took. There's nobody else that applied the same principles that we applied to it, kept it real with the home team. Um, there's 808s that always knocking my shit. And I want niggas to know each song we go through like 3 to 4 weeks of mixing on those just so that they knock the right way. Like I want all that to be felt. I never want to stop caring about this, you know. I never want to stop caring about this, and I never want to, you know, have a bad example of what they expect at the Polaris way. And as long as we can keep going, and keep building, and keep dropping timeless projects on the people and whatnot, um, I want to get to a point where I can help other artists, you know. And I have a big heart, and I know people with small hearts say that all the time, but I definitely have a big heart. And I would just like to, when the time is right, just really pull other artists up and really support them because I see it so clear. I hate talking to the homies on the phone when they have an issue at the label or wherever they're at. You get what I'm saying? Because it's
yeah.
like my answers are always solution based, and I don't never want it to seem like it's super easy because everyone's experience in this is completely different. But I know when it's all said and done, after the timeless records have been dropped and whatnot, we will be at the top and in a position to pull other people up and show them the Polaris way, period. You feel me? And that's what all this is about. We're going towards one common goal, which is just to be a long-standing force that people talk about for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years to come.
Mm. And I love that. I love what you're going for, what you stand for, man. And you know, I wish we could talk forever. I got so much.
Man, real talk, bro. This shit. Come
Uh,
on, bro.
but you know, I gotta let you go. And I just, man, I appreciate you as an artist. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And hopefully we can talk next time and get a little bit more info. You know.
Come on, bro. I got a spliff rolled up for you, Nico.
Yeah, but when you're city, man, you know, we got a link or something to come through to see
Got you,
the
bro. That's an easy call. I do appreciate you understanding, bro. You get it, bro. You get it. You get
show.
it.
No doubt, bro. And like I said, man, keep doing your thing. Thanks for everything, for real.
Thank you, gang.